Welcome to the club.
Today, we're diving into one of the most famous battles in history, the Battle of Austerlitz. But we're not going to look at it like a typical history lesson. Instead, we're cracking open Leo Tolstoy's masterpiece, War and Peace, to see this epic clash not just as a bunch of troop movements, but as a deeply human, chaotic, and profound event. So Tolstoy kicks things off with a huge question, one that really flips our whole idea of history on its head. Is a great battle won because of some brilliant general with a perfect plan? Or is it something else? He argues that it has way less to do with genius strategies and a whole lot more to do with chaos, pure chance, and the messy reality of the human heart. And this slide right here, it just perfectly captures that divide. On one hand, you've got the official plan. It's this super detailed, complex maneuver drawn up by an Austrian general. On paper, it looked foolproof. But on the other hand, you have the reality, summed up by the most experienced Russian commander of them all, Kutuzov. The night before a single shot was fired, he basically said, yeah, we're gonna lose. So what did he see that everyone else was missing? To really get what Tolstoy is saying, we gotta get down in the mud with the soldiers. He gives us two guides for this journey, a couple of young Russian officers, and they're both marching toward this massive battle with completely different things lighting their way. Okay, first up, you've got Prince Andrei Bolkonsky. He's smart, he's cynical, and man, is he ambitious. He is bored out of his mind with his life and sees war as his personal stage. He's not fighting for some grand cause. Nope, he's chasing his Toulon. That's a nod to the battle where Napoleon first made a name for himself. Andrei just wants that one heroic moment that will make him immortal. And then you have the complete opposite, Nikolai Rostov. He's a young, starry-eyed hussar, totally swept up in the romance of it all. For him, glory has nothing to do with personal achievement. It's all about devotion. His biggest dream isn't winning the battle, but just getting a glimpse of his emperor, Tsar Alexander. As Tolstoy puts it, he was basically in love with the Tsar. All right, so let's jump from the soldiers on the ground to the top brass. While Rostov is dreaming about his emperor, Prince Andrei is getting a front row seat to the leadership. And what he sees is how arrogance and ego are paving the road to absolute disaster. This council isn't a meeting of the minds, it's a total train wreck. You have General Weyrother reading his plan out loud like a school teacher. You've got other generals making sarcastic comments under their breath. And the guy in charge of the whole army, Kutuzov, he's literally dozing off. I mean, he has completely checked out. And this right here, this is his final take on the whole thing. With this one, totally ironic comment, Kutuzov just dismisses the entire elaborate plan. He's not being lazy, he's being wise. He gets that this rigid, complicated strategy is going to fall apart the second it hits the fog and chaos of a real battlefield. In his mind, the battle is already lost. So while the generals are squabbling and sleeping, what about the men they're supposed to be leading? Down on the ground, Rostov's pure idealistic devotion is what's really fueling the army's spirit. After Rostov finally sees the Tsar ride past, he is just completely overcome with emotion. He and his buddies make this passionate toast. To them, the Tsar is like a god, and dying for him would be the highest honor they could imagine. This is the incredible morale, the spirit that the leadership is about to just throw away. But here's the kicker. The guy they all adore, Tsar Alexander himself, he's no hardened warrior. The first time he sees a wounded soldier up close, he's genuinely horrified. His reaction couldn't be more different from the romantic, heroic fantasies that soldiers like Rostov have built up in their heads. And so, as dawn breaks on the day of the battle, all of these things, the bad plan, the selfish ambition, the naive devotion, they're all about to slam right into reality. And that collision is going to be absolutely catastrophic. The battle starts exactly how Kutuzov knew it would, with total, utter confusion. There's this thick fog, so the Allied columns, trying to do their fancy maneuver, are basically blind. They get lost, they bump into each other, they just stop. Any hope of momentum is gone. And then, the sun burns through the fog on the high ground, revealing their entire exposed army to Napoleon, who's just been waiting for them. It's a perfect trap. And just like that, it's over before it even starts. The French swarm the heights that the Allies foolishly abandoned. The surprise is total. Order just evaporates. The Allied center completely disintegrates into a panicked mob. Right in the middle of this chaos, Kutuzov gets grazed by a bullet. But he knows the small cut on his cheek isn't the real problem. He points to his soldiers running away and says the wound is there. It's the complete and total collapse of his army's will to fight. But it's in this exact moment of chaos and humiliation that Prince Andrei, our ambitious hero, finally sees his chance. He finally gets the moment he's been dreaming of. He sees the soldiers running, throwing their guns down, and he's just filled with disgust. And then he spots it. The regimental flag, the symbol of their honor, just lying in the dirt. On pure instinct, he acts. He grabs that heavy flag, and with that one simple cry, he charges straight at the enemy. This is it. This is his Toulon moment. One single act of courage to turn the tide and win his immortal glory. And that's it. It's over. A French soldier hits him, and he goes down. His grand, heroic moment lasts, a few seconds? And then it's just brutally snuffed out. But what happens next? This is the whole point of Tolstoy's argument. Lying there wounded, staring up at the sky, Prince Andrei has this incredible epiphany. He sees this vast, peaceful, endless sky, and suddenly, all his ambitions, his hero worship of Napoleon, the whole idea of glory, it all seems so pathetic and small. He realizes that real meaning isn't in all this human drama, but in something much, much bigger. So while Prince Andrei is having this huge philosophical breakthrough, the rest of the army is experiencing something way more visceral. The sheer, brutal, meaningless horror of a total rout. The absolute worst of it happens at a place called the August Dam, where the retreat becomes a death trap. Thousands of men get crammed onto this narrow causeway while French cannons just pound them from above. In pure desperation, guys start running onto the frozen ponds next to the dam, but the ice can't hold them. It breaks, swallowing men, horses, and cannons into the freezing water. It's just a scene of pure slaughter. And what about those glorious moments? Well, young Rostov got to see the legendary charge of the elite horse guards, a truly incredible sight. But look at the cost. Of all those wealthy, handsome, elite young men who charged into the smoke, just 18 of them were left standing at the end. Glory, as Tolstoy shows us, is basically just another word for annihilation. So we end up right back where we started. Tolstoy uses this one battle to completely tear down the whole great man theory of history. Napoleon didn't win because he was a genius, and the Allies didn't lose because their commanders were idiots. The battle was decided by a million tiny, unpredictable things. A soldier stumbling in the fog, a moment of panic, a wounded man looking up at the sky. And Tolstoy leaves us with this really unsettling question. If our heroes and our grand plans are all just an illusion in the face of chaos, then what on earth is really in control?